Hello, good evening, and a very warm welcome. For our next face-to-face, I have with me our guest, former Lieutenant Governor of Delhi, Najeeb Jung. He was the Vice Chancellor of Jamia Millia Islamia and has also served as Secretary, Director, Joint Secretary in Ministry of Railway, Steel, Petroleum and Natural Gas. He has also served as Senior Energy Specialist at the Asian Development Bank and Fellow at the Oxford Institute for Energy Studies, University of Oxford. He has translated Diwan-e Ghalib in English, and very recently, Kalb-e Faiz was translated by him, which was released very recently in New Delhi. Today, I'm going to discuss with him on Delhi election results, its impact on Aam Aadmi Party, the lessons it has for the Congress, the impact of the verdict on India alliance, and above all, its impact on regional and national politics. Welcome, sir, to our next episode of Expert Insights. Pleasure to have you on our show. First of all, I would like to know how political downfall of Aam Aadmi Party in Delhi election will impact their national ambition and what lessons they should learn from this defeat.
Naushad Saab, thank you for inviting me and having me on your show. Look, before I start on answering your main question, we need to go back to understand how the Aam Aadmi Party indeed came to power. Because that leads us to the next question of how they lost power. Naushad Saab, the Aam Aadmi Party came to power on a dream. They created a dream for the people of India. They created the vision of a new India, of a new awakening of a corrupt, free India, bereft of bureaucratic hindrances, and a country where you could laugh and get your work done and be happy. And it was to be a paradise. That was the vision that Mr. Kejriwal developed. And that was the vision that Delhi swallowed lock, stock and barrel, as indeed most of India that got impressed by this new vision. Now, obviously, when he came into power, he realized that it was not possible to achieve what he had done. But Kejriwal was in a great hurry. He would not subscribe to staying with systems. And therefore, you saw all that happen vis-a-vis the Lieutenant Governor's office, vis-a-vis the central government, vis-a-vis Delhi police, and Mr. Kejriwal. Now, obviously, after 10 years, the bubble burst because the dreams that you had built could not come to fruition. What had happened was that he himself realized that he could not move with the way he did, and therefore he started giving out what you call revdi or freebies, and give 300 units of electricity, or you give free water, or etc., which he did, and that proved beneficial to him for 10 years. But now other parties played the same game. And so if you could give one revdi, then the other could give you two. And if you would give 300 units of electricity, somebody would give 350. If you distributed 2,000, somebody would give 2,500. It was a race on whom give more. So obviously, in this race, and having seen the last 10 years of the Aam Aadmi Party government functioning, people realize that it is perhaps better to have the same government in Delhi as in the center. So the disputes would reduce, and work in Delhi would not suffer. Now, obviously, you asked me about his national ambitions. So the Aam Aadmi Party, Naushad Saab, is not built on any ideology. Most national parties have an ideology. If the Congress party had the Gandhian philosophy behind it, or the BJP follows a right-wing ideology, or the Communist Party follow a left-wing ideology, Kejriwal never subscribed to an ideology. It was an absolute laissez-faire system that what you think is good and what will sell, I will project that. He's a great salesman in that way, and he was selling this idea. Now, I think that a party that is bereft of ideas and of ideology, and a party that leans so heavily on one man, it's a one man engine. He runs the party. He has no politburo. He has no mechanism to sit and discuss ideas. And that is what we saw, that when we had very good people working with him in the initial few years, within the next 6-7 months, they started leaving. Because here they realized that we were working with a man who was in many, many ways authoritarian. You can be authoritarian even if you're a Modi ji, because you run such a large organization, you've been for 15 years, people listen to you. You can be authoritarian if you're a Jawaharlal, you can be authoritarian if you are an Indira ji. But for Kejriwal to suddenly become not just the first among equals, but only the first, there are no equals there. So now for him to survive and to get along, to keep his flock together, particularly if, I am not sure, but if the bail conditions say that you are out till the election campaigning is on, then he will have to surrender himself to the jail authorities. And if I read in the newspapers, the enforcement directorate also has got a clearance from the lieutenant governor for prosecution under offenses of the economic offenses. So all that combined and the pressure on him, it will be very difficult for him to keep his flock together. तो नेशनल एम्बिशन तो बहुत दूर की बात है. अभी तो सवाल ये है कि अपने लोगों को एकत्रित रख सकें to survive.
Yeah. So what lessons do they really have just to keep their flock together?
Right now, I think that's the struggle. Right now, the main struggle will be that these 22 or 23, whoever have got elected, don't break away again. I mean, if the Operation Lotus, as they say, comes to bloom again, then 5, 6, 7 of them may again walk out. You see, it's 1/3 needs to go away, and so they may just go away.
So, how do you see the role of Congress party in Delhi election, and how Delhi verdict is likely to impact India alliance? Because we have already seen Samajwadi Party supported Aam Aadmi Party in Delhi election, and we can also see that Mamata Banerjee has announced to go solo in Bengal in 2026.
Naushad Saab, Delhi election is very interesting from the concept of the India alliance. It gives very clear messages. The one very, very clear message is that without an alliance, you can't function. You will fall again because the BJP is a very powerful organization right now. They will eat into your system, and therefore only security or safety lies in alliances. Now that Delhi has proved, because if you look at the numbers, then if Congress has 4% and if the AAP had 42%, they would have got at least 35, 36 seats, and be able to form a government. A scenario which is very close to the 2014 election, 2013 election, very close to that. When the Congress had 8 seats and the AAP had 28, and together they formed a government. So that scenario could well have happened this time had they allied. Now, you asked also about the Congress party. The Congress party has also proved that you need us. We've got nothing. We've got nothing in this election, but in the national election, in the All India election, we are capable of getting 20% vote. And if we get 20% vote, then without us, you guys in the states will also suffer. So I think this is a signal to the India alliance that however big you may sound or may have worked, including Mr. Yadav here and Ms. Banerjee in Bengal, I think the message is very clear that we should work together if we want to fight a very, very efficient ruthless political party.
So, how do you think the Delhi election verdict is going to play out regionally and national politics?
Naushad, I think, Naushad Saab, I really think that the India alliance will uh, will uh, will strengthen itself. Whatever may appear right now to you, they will get together. In the national elections, the India alliance doesn't matter so much in beyond the Narmada.
Yeah.
You know, there in the south, I think that the Congress and the BJP may well have one-on-one by and large. But for our side of the country, which is Uttar Pradesh, which is Bihar just coming up very recently, now very soon, and Bengal. I think it is critical. It is absolutely critical for these parties to get together. I really think that the Congress will also understand that in the regions, they are not an equal player. That is very critical for the Congress to understand that you cannot flex muscles with Ms. Banerjee or even with the Tejasvi Yadav or an Akhilesh Yadav.
Yeah.
These people are forces in their own right.
Yeah.
So their local strength must be respected. And you have to be a junior player in all this. I think in the Uttar Pradesh Lok Sabha election, you saw that.
Yeah.
That a very sensible attitude of Mr. Gandhi, that he accepted much lesser seats, and the result was that they got so many seats in Uttar Pradesh. Even in the 10 by-elections of state assembly in Uttar Pradesh, Congress did not fight, although they supported the Samajwadi Party. So the Congress does have the maturity to take a decision which is tough. And therefore, I think it must stick with that decision. The Delhi election, I think, was a signal, also a deliberate signal by the Congress party to the Aam Aadmi Party that what you did in Haryana, or what you did in Goa, or what you did in Gujarat is not fair. And this is a lesson to you.
So one thing was very significant in Delhi election because aggressive polarization attempt was missing from the campaign trail. How would you like to respond to that? Because all the focus was on a remedy, on freebies, Yamuna water, air pollution, and so on.
Naushad Sahab, historically, Delhi elections have never been polarized. If you look back at Delhi population, you see the Muslims live in pockets. I mean, there are pockets in Mustafabad and in Silampur and Sangam Bihar and Okhla areas and Jama Masjid, Chandni Chowk, where the Muslims are concentrated. So, and interestingly, in Delhi, they live cheek and jowl. The 2020 Northeast Delhi riots are an aberration for Delhi. We do not have a history of communal violence and communalism in Delhi. So leave apart the 2020 riots. I think that there was no need for the BJP to raise a communal bogey vis-a-vis the Muslims, and the election was very clear. The Muslims had made up their mind that despite the AAP not being sympathetic to them in the last 4 or 5 years, they still voted the AAP because they realized that the Congress is not going to do too well. It was, in a way, tactical voting to make the AAP won. Because, look, during the CAA agitation, 3.5 months in bitter winter, Muslim women sat out in the bitter cold in Shaheen Bagh. Not a word from AAP. The 2020 riots where, I belong to a group called the Constitutional Conduct Group. We are a group of retired civil servants. And we worked in that area during 2020. AAP was missing from the scene completely. So despite that, the Muslims voted. But by and large in Delhi, in South Delhi and in the better parts of Delhi, there is no polarization.
Finally, as a LG of New Delhi, and based on your experience and expertise, what would you like to suggest to the new government, which will be in place very soon?
Uh, Look, Delhi in the last 10 years have had a very rough time.
Yeah.
The Delhi civil servants have been mauled. They've been very badly treated by Mr. Kejriwal and his party. The Delhi civil servants were used to very polite, mature, seasoned behavior of Mrs. Sheila Dikshit. Suddenly, they were faced with a party which had no courtesies in their work. They were rude, they were rough. So, number one is that the Bharatiya Janata Party must accept that civil servants must be respected to get the best work out of them. Number two, I think that the BJP must now, it's absolutely imperative for them to start thinking about the environment, the pollution, and cleaning Jamna Ji. Jamna Ji for us is a holy river. We have made it into a drain. Now, the Bharatiya Janata Party has have to have the courage to remove the polluting industries from the shores of the Jamna. Now, these industries belong to their voters. These are people, they may be MLAs, they may be party men, they may be their funders, whoever. The party will have to show courage to clean up that part. That's imperative. Secondly, I think in the first rain of the monsoon, Delhi is stuck. Now, there's no reason for that. I remember in 2014, we had cleaned up all the drains, starting our work in April, and there was no water problem in that year. So the drains must start to be covered. What happens is that the leaves collect from where the water has to flow. So the leaves are actually blocking the area from where the water should flow. Or the drains have to be cleaned up completely. And that work should now start. I mean, we are now into February. The party must start looking at drains come April, May. So those are the three things absolutely necessary. And to be fair, the party must look at keeping the quality of schools as they are developed by Kejriwal. Mm-hmm. The party must, this government must revive the Mohalla clinics because they were doing a fabulous job, but deprived of funds and deprived of good postings and medicines, they were falling into disarray. So the Mohalla clinics must come up again. Mm-hmm. Those are the basic points I think that that this government must apply itself to.
On that note, let us hope that the new government in power will try to set an example of good governance with inclusive approach and inclusive policy. Thank you, sir, for sharing your perspective. We'll be back next week with another expert to discuss another issue. Till then, goodbye. Thanks for watching. Do take good care of yourself. Bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you very much.